Before we touch on the end credit itself, I just want to talk about the final scene of the film because I feel like that was intended to be an end credit. So Miss Marvel is recruiting all the Young Avengers, and I love that because it's fresh, it's new, we've got all the young characters and they're not really doing anything at the moment. So having them all team up for a bigger adventure is great. I like the fact that Nick Fury isn't doing it because we've seen the Avengers, we've seen how that happens, and I quite like what he's doing at the moment. So to have her interacting with all the young kids and keeping them all in their own little bubble just makes sense for me. And like, it means they can go on bigger superhero missions for them. So maybe saving like a city or two, because let's face it, this is Miss Marvel's second outing, right? And she essentially saved the solar system. That's crazy. Like, think about the rest of the MCU characters in their solo movies, right? I can't really say anyone else has really come close to that feat on their second outing. It is mind-boggling. It is just crazy. So keeping it smaller scale, doing their own thing, you know, I would have liked them to include Yelena actually, because I don't know, I just don't get her vibe with the Thunderbolt. She has great chemistry with Hailey Steinfeld. So having Hawkeye, a Black Widow, Miss Marvel, Cassie Lang, stature, that would be awesome. You know, then you got 4. You just need a bloke, I guess. Now for the actual end credit itself, right? I believe it leads into Deadpool 3 because it's X-Men, right? We see Beast in all his beautiful glory. He's furry, you know, he's a bit overly CGI for me. I don't know. He just felt a bit off visually, but that's because we've been really treated in the past to how he looks visually with all the makeups, effects and stuff like that. But we have Kelsey Grammer back in the role, which is amazing. I loved his version of Beast in Last Stand, and I'm so grateful to have him back. Like, I can't wait to when he appears again because it's going to be amazing. I just hope Marvel don't waste this and spend like 10 years or something crazy trying to develop all of this stuff and put it on the back burner, because we've had like Wong appear in Shang-Chi and that didn't go anywhere. They need to strike while the iron is hot. We need this. You know, the MCU isn't doing very good. The reception's kind of down. So banking on the X-Men is just perfect at this point because people love the X-Men. Just look at what Fox did with them. They made so many movies, and you wouldn't do that if it wasn't popular, would you? Of course, we had Armor Rambo, and, you know, you had a little bit of interaction, which was cool, but it's weird because we have Brie, right? And they're so stuck with her being Captain Marvel, you can't really have her being the other roles. And they've got Mama Rambeau, and like they're like, oh yeah, you know what? You can be Captain Marvel now in this other universe. You can be binary. You can do all of these cool things. And it's fantastic because, again, you're banking on this actress and she's getting all these other different roles. And it's nice to have all these different characters. Like, I never thought we were going to get a live action binary, and now we have. And of course, you got the whole Professor X thing, so he's still alive. Probably Patrick Stewart again. It's great. It's absolutely fantastic. I cannot stress how much I love the X-Men. What I would like the MCU to do with them is I would like them to give them their own universe, because the MCU is a little crowded at the moment, right? You've got so many things going on. You've got all these crossovers. Every single solo movie feels like a team-up movie, because essentially it is, you know. Captain Marvel 2 is now called The Marvels, and there are 3 different Captain Marvels. Okay, fine. But I want the X-Men to be smaller scale, you know. Maybe like interchange it a bit, you know, have 1 year be MCU movies, 1 year be X-Men movies, or have a bit of both and blend it in a bit. I think that'd be really cool. And I think it would be really refreshing for the audience to actually have that. And then if you did want to cross over, you can do like a Secret Wars and then you can have the occasional crossover. But having their own separate universes, you know, let's say, I don't know, this movie doesn't do well, then, oh yeah, you know, we got a Deadpool movie coming up. That could do really well and stuff like that. You know, you can bank on the characters that you haven't had in the X-Men so far. You can have a completely clean slate with them, so you can do as many Wolverine movies as you want. You can still bank on Deadpool and go from there, and it'll work, and it'll make a lot of money for them. But they have to be smart about it. They can't just introduce them all into the MCU and go, oh yeah, you know, we've got another solar system threat, we need to deal with it, because it's getting too big in scale at the moment, and it's just getting crazier and crazier and crazier, and they're getting larger and larger and larger, and it just needs to be small. Just keep it simple, you know, make it a bit more personal. As for the second end credit, if you can even call it that, it was a bunch of cat and flirking noises, and you know what, I quite enjoy it. I have a good sense of humor, and I thought it was funny. You don't see anything on screen, you just have the noises. And I like the fact that Marvel are just trolling people now, because we're so used to having two end credits that what they started doing is they started making the second end credit a gag. And it's great. It's funny.